Hi. This is my individual reflection for the final project. First, this is my first time doing a remote paired programming project, and it feels really different from other projects like the ones I had in computer science classes. Um, it does require some more intense scheduling um, between group members if you really want to meet up. But on the other hand, you can distribute your work through what we use is Google Form and Google Team Drive to distribute and re regather our individual work for the project. And yeah, and I think that leads to another problem that I didn't experience before is that um, for everything that you're going to distribute, uh, you need to first develop a pretty much uh, pretty much error-proof um, a pretty much error-proof template so that the group members can synchronize their work on that basis. Otherwise, you'll make every step of the project's development really hard because you will need to check error and possibly similar errors for the for more than 20 different files you have for your project, and that's really painful. um, which is also something I think if next time I have a remote programming project, I have to keep in mind of. Um, and but overall, this project has given me really positive experience because my group members um, are all really cooperating really well. And even though it's a remote pair programming session, we did meet up for a number of times, and uh, and I think the hybrid the hybrid way we took at both online and offline meeting really helped form what our final project looked like. And another thing I like to talk about is um, is about the language PHP itself. So I've never had experience with PHP before. Uh, well, but my experience in computer science does help me because syntactically it does share some similarity with other classical computer languages such as C, Java, and so it does help me the from like to get a head start by understanding the concepts of variables and if else and other logical structures. But on the other hand, this language also has this unique part that it communicates with database, which requires some careful setup, and most importantly, it's kind of harder to debug than other languages that you use locally because this one you'll have to whatever output it gives you, you have to use a browser and a local server or a remote server to show what your changes has caused or if it is working properly or not. And sometimes you'll really miss some miscellaneous detail within it. And and that leads to my other um, lead to other, um, well, let's just say I have some similar comments for HTML because even though PHP is hard to debug on itself, HTML is something worse because it doesn't complain or anything if you have, let's say, an unclosed clause. It will still work, but it just doesn't show you, and sometimes it will be hard to debug without uh, a, markup validator or something else. And yeah, so I would also like to say that I did learn a lot from this course. Not just, well, first from the programming perspective, um, I fortified my skills with HTML and CSS, and yeah, because I did took LIS 351, which gave me an introduction of those languages, and I have also learned PHP, which is a really useful language as well, and it does give me, well, it does kind of answer my question when I took 351, such as if you want to do something not really can be scripted, uh, well, that's where PHP comes into play. It can control dynamic uses of the data on the server. And well, apart from programming perspective, um, the reading material and the other discussions of this course really made me think about mm, problems I haven't kept in mind before, and I personally try to give a reflective response for weekly discussions, so which also uh, led to some extra research on my own or some interviews, such as the one I interviewed my father and actually found something shocking and interesting about the regulations on female engineers working on the uh, petroleum platform. And yeah, and I think the experience in this course will enable me a brand new way of learning. And thanks to all the instructors and staff of this course, um, they've delivered a really good experience to me. And that's all. Bye bye.